Backwards going into the wall, or no?
It would eventually lead us all facing that way to start walking back, yes.
Okay. So it could be here, it could be that you actually go one at a time, quickly, or in a close scan. Then maybe Amber goes, she goes into the wall, back out, and boom, boom. See? Here. Okay, no, okay, so here, that's a little too modern. So here, just like, oh, look at this. Oh, there's a crack here. Oh, follow the crack. Oh, you see? Okay. All right? Okay. Be careful about this. What does this bring you to? I don't know if you need to do that. Okay. You look at the wall.
And we all have different like eye, and then we do this little step.
All right.
And then this is the walk.
Okay.
The inception of the mill project was actually Rachel de Grossier, who's the director of Museum LA, which is a historical museum of the artifacts of the mill, called me and said, I have an idea. We want to do another fundraiser down on the river. And this time we want to have like dancers incorporated. So I want you to come down and look at the bridge with me, the trestle bridge.
She felt that it might be a little hard to do something in that area, but she loved the idea of doing something downtown that would be different.
I think that summer Steve was here teaching and I said, come down to I want to show you a site. So I already had like the whole thing mapped in my brain.
The idea was to do something that related to the history of Lewiston and Auburn. And we first started talking about some really dramatic pieces that would be done on the rocks where the falls come down over the river.
Again, I don't think this is going to be possible, but one can always dream. I thought it might be fun to have like some flotation device here, anchored, not moving, but having someone on that sort of as part of an ongoing sort of performance installation. My first thought would be amazing to spend someone right in front of the falls and have the falls, the white foam behind them. But again, that takes a lot of rigging.
And I would say over a period of probably 9 months, maybe even almost a year, it transitioned more and more towards the mill, and then eventually it was decided, I mean, the only place you could really control the spectators as well as control the whole process of the dancers was to keep it in the mill.
Well, it was built in 1850 and opened in 1852, and it was built to make bedspreads, and they became the famous Bates Manufacturing Company, established by Benjamin Bates from Boston.
The entire site was excavated by hand with shovels and mules to carry off the dirt.
They originally didn't have any lighting. They were completely dependent upon the water power to power the looms and so on, and they were completely dependent on natural lighting in order to provide light. That's why the mills were built narrow and so long.
In its heyday, we had over 5,000 people working here. They became globally able to send their bedspreads all over the world. It was amazing.
site work's an incredible audience builder, particularly when you're making work in public places. People collide with it. The police are there, the kids are there, the skateboarders are there, and they get curious. And I just love that collision that happens completely by accident in public spaces. And I love the way that it shifts people's perspective on what is performance and what is place. So for all those reasons, I think it's like a really great thing for our field, because just being stuck with trying to get butts in seats and survive on how many tickets you can sell it's a model that doesn't work anymore.
We pretty much support and open our doors to all the arts in Lewiston and Auburn. I think having a really strong sense of the arts in your community is good for the economy. It's good for attracting people to live and work here, and it just makes sense.
There were machines in here for hundreds of years, and they were oiling them, and the oil gets in the floor, and it starts to come up. So one thing we're going to do, if I say we don't need, get the stickies off. So we're not going to use it. We're not taking that. We're not taking this. We are going to take that, but so leave that. Should we decide what that's going to be right now? We're going to label like 1A, 2A, 3A, blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to actually take a picture. We're going to hold the 1A by the thing, take a picture of us with it, so we know that that is 1A, so we can get that.
Perfect.
Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. No stickies.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, just make a big.
In the early days, there absolutely was no child labor laws.
And they would be anywhere from the age of 8 to 12, and they'd come in barefoot in dresses, and they'd work sun up to sundown, which is really quite something. If one piece of yarn breaks, it shuts the whole loom down. So they found that women were very good, and kids, because they had smaller, more dexterous hands. They could get in there and tie these very small knots and keep that equipment running.
And when they heard that the truant officer was on its way, they would jump into the big slubbers that we have, and the people would put cotton on top of them and hide them, and then the truant officer would come in and look around, and there'd be no kids around. They'd say, well, okay, but you know, I thought somebody said, you know, and as soon as the truant officers left, they would take the cotton off, the kids would come back out, and go back to work.
Generally, as each one of these sections emerged, Stephen would go through a process of teasing out what aspects of the site he wanted to enliven or inhabit. And so sometimes those would be spatial choices. Sometimes it would be enlivening the architecture. Sometimes it would be about the human connection at a certain point. And so I think those then determined the movement investigation that would take place to generate the work in that section. So for instance, the slubbers, the Courtyard 1 and Courtyard 2, that was very much informed by kind of this historical knowledge of children working in factories in the late 1800s and the early 1900s.
One of the things that I was grappling with overnight about this is actually dealing with the tone of what we're doing, especially because this is the very first thing in the piece. And you know, it would be very easy to, as you can see, to create a very festive and fun, actually humorous event here. I mean, it would be, I mean, it's almost making itself, as I like to say. I just don't know if that's really what I want to say and what's appropriate, given, in a sense, the history of these artifacts. So, what did you see there? Just curious. What?
Simple. Like simple in the sense that it's very clear, the passing off.
Exactly. It's very simple, direct. What else? How else would you describe it? Stripped down.
Yeah, and it felt nostalgic of what could have been happening. People passing back and forth, and the transfer.
Right. Now, when you say nostalgia, you don't mean in a
not in a romantic way, but
it's referencing.
It's referencing
It's referencing the tasks that actually happen.
Utilitarian.
Yeah.
Right, but in a way where I like to use the word architectural. I mean, where it's clearly designed.
Yes.
And choreographic.
Yes.
Trying to, in some ways, enact these old-time photographs that you see of factory workers, of people, pre-Depression era. Just and bringing that kind of essence of the experience that you have of looking into these people's eyes when you're looking at these photographs, and the stories, the personal stories that might come out. And so I think that really informed that first section. And that was something that we built with the core dancers at the onset, and then we had this score that was then taught, developed, further fleshed out when we actually had the folks that would be doing it.
Can you all get back in your picture so that we can see this?
Audience is everywhere.
Everywhere. You guys might be walking through the audience.
So Dana is going to work with you on timing, physicality, just how we just be in the space, how we strip away acting something, but just being normal. And I think that's it.
Wait, that's it?
That's it.
What?
I know.
That's it?
That's it.
Wait, all you have to do is just move?
It does look really cool.
Is it a dance? That's a question.
Is it a dance? That is always a question. For
Wait,
me,
all you just have to do is pick
everything
up
is a
things and
dance.
just move them?
I think that maybe that one was well, that one came from the third floor and it's just now.
When I first approached this project with Steve, I first arrived here and we went through a tour of the mill. We found these things called slubbers. They're part of the artifacts of the museum. And I realized that quickly, very quickly, when I just saw them, I'm like, that's a tube. And a tube makes sound. How about I record those tubes, Steve? And at first, it was kind of like, okay, that's kind of obvious. But as time went on, meaning 3 hours later, we're like, yeah, let's record the tubes. So I took a recorder into the space, and I took these things and I would drop them on the ground. And let's see if I can get one that has a lot of, right? What that sound is after I dropped it on the ground, it's sort of settling on the ground, eventually getting quicker and quicker and quicker. And that became essentially the entire percussion world of the hour's worth of music that we did. Primarily the slubbers, and then some industrial sounds that I went looking for and found. Loom sounds, needles, sewing machines. And that became kind of the sound world. It's the first thing to do when you approach a project like this, is really investigate what the potential sound world is. And this one was rich.
There are 48 people total in the cast, and of that, 24 of them will need a second costume. Everyone is shod for the piece. The downstairs atrium, they're going to be wet. And I like that idea because that whole piece, section, has water as the sound and water being projected. But I really did not want them to look like they were in a wet t-shirt contest. I wanted it to look, I don't know, artsy, I guess is the word for it.
I'm just going in. Oh, wow.
No, you're good. Okay.
Sorry. You wouldn't have to do that lift. You caught him and then you lift him.
Yes.
You catch him and then you let him down. Did you see that? No. They all went like, catch. Oh no, it's going.
So right from the get-go, we were expected to trust each other implicitly, and like from day one, we were being put in dangerous situations where it was like, hey, nice to meet you, like let me catch all of your body weight and make sure your head doesn't hit the concrete.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fall. And go. There's a picture of them where they start, 3 of them are in the window, kind of idly looking out the window, and it's kind of a rather pastoral scene, not really, but like there's nothing really going on except they're just kind of passing time, and then all of a sudden they fall out of the window, and the performers, there's 16 of them, begin to separate. And they begin to fall and recover and fall and recover, fall and recover. And then I have them on either side of this second floor atrium begin to gravitate to the poles. And the initial task there was I had them make 2 types of phrases. One was a phrase where they were inspecting the pole, or in a sense like a machine, so to speak. And the second one was they're trying to fix it. And then I took those phrases and, edited them, changed them, had other people learn them, and do all the things the choreographer does, when they're generating movement like that. And little by little, they go from being outside of the machine, where they're doing something to it, to becoming themselves part of the machine.
As the music started forming with Todd, I was very much a part of the translation process, the getting to know the music process with the dancers. And so I would go in and and listen to the score, musical score, and really match it to the dance that the dancers knew, and then helping the dancers find where these landmark places were in the score. If I didn't have these counts written down, well, I think I did kind of remember them, but this was, I mean, look at those counts. There is no order to that sense, you know? I mean, there is an order. It's a new order, a new sense of logic, but.
I like challenges. I'm a hard worker, and it's been really interesting working with Stephen in this project because we've been able to kind of talk about these ideas and watch them transform and frustrate and build and get excited and then get frustrated and then get excited about it. And working in these old mills is really crazy because of the history of work. And all I've been doing, and my partner Jason, who's working with it, we've been working constantly, and so we're sitting here like, this is work.
My dad worked here for 38 years, and in 1978, just before he retired, I wanted to see what work he did. So I came to visit him. And it was July, and it was a very hot day. As soon as I walked in here, I could have done this with my clothes. It was so hot. And so I understood why he dressed the way he did and so forth. That's the kind of stock we're made of, you know, that Lewiston-Auburn people are made of. They're strong, stubborn, hardworking.
I think my focus really went to trying to change the self-esteem within people who were born and raised in this community. Their feelings about themselves were because the mill had failed, and I wanted to make sure that they understood, you know, there's more to them. They just need to find that and go out and get it.
That relationship going. I think that might help even more than anything else.
Okay, but I just want to say this to start. Don't be so conscientious about having things complement each other. As I said in that meeting, I really can handle things not meshing as beautifully as you'd like them to. Really. Because I really want people, when they're here, they're going to hear this more than that. And even if that still sort of there. They're going to be able to, you know, we do that. We process. You know, our ears will focus on this and tune that out. You know, people make out of chaos. They're trying to make order.
I have no awareness that this is how the human brain works.
Yeah, you know how it is. I'm telling you. I'm just saying the obvious, but I'm doing it on purpose to remind you that people always make so they can handle more chaos. What I'm trying to say is, I think the audience can handle more chaos than I think that I'm getting from you. Right.
What I'm saying to you is I'm talking about a way to actually start working with these things without thinking of organizing them together.
Fine.
So we were actually saying the same thing.
The performer that you see, her name is Becky, and this is a video that she made with Steve years ago in the mill. Basically, she does the same task loop, but twice, and so it's a little bit different. So we have basically taken her original track, deconstructed it, pulled it apart, and are doing our own looped track of it, sort of re-envisioned as a performance piece.
For me, what's been a challenge, and it's been exciting to do, is to choreograph not to a specific place and to specific architecture, but now do site-specific choreography to the specific video.
Today I had to essentially somehow create a climbing wall. I've never done it before, and I have no idea how I did it, but it all kind of came together with just adding a few and playing around with it and adding more.
Go ahead. Here. Where do you go now?
So from here, you're going to drag through, step right, and you're going to dodge a bullet to both sides. So you dodge right, dodge left. The next thing is the bullet hits you in the hip and takes you around the little
his core company group, you know, he's hiring professional dancers and professional artists. It's a unique skill set that he's looking for these core company members, because they are generators in this process. They are collaborators in creating this movement material. They also then flip into being teachers of this movement material because of the structure of his creative process, where he works with a small group and then it expands to a larger group.
Stay together. Go, go, go. You can't be together. No, no, no. Two groups cannot run together. Try to stay, try to keep it not in unison between two groups. You're going back and forth? Okay. All right. Okay. So I think this might work, but I need to tire you out.
I'm sorry. That was good.
No, I'm going to judge it back. Sorry. Hey, Hannah, put on your list of asking Alan if we can talk to the city about getting a permit to turn off two public lights outside. Two street lights outside the windows. And blackout and lit. Blackout. And this event. Then it grows. those lights come on, fade bright. By the way, I have a cast of 16 to 20.
And Marion, go.
20 dancers for this. So this is a sketch with just 8.
Are you imagining that is that?
Can we kill this?
Yes, we can. But what I'm asking is, are you imagining that some house lights are on to some level when she first comes down because she's making all this eye contact with us? And
Right here.
the lights I'm going to hang over this
Oh, no,
area.
no, not at all. No, she's not making contact with real people.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not like we have, no.
Okay, it's not a meta moment.
Michael would love to see some kind of run of the piece, and I and Julie know very well what time it is. So could we do kind of a low energy run?
Without running.
Well, he kind of needs to see that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Maybe one big bang and then the rest.
Yeah, we're not going to do it again or anything like that.
Well, we're not going to do that full. Like even
No.
the run would not be full.
No.
Okay. So we can just jog.
Gentle jogging. Gentle jogging.
Gentle jogging.
Yeah.
I just love the way that when you take performance into either an architectural site or a natural site, it changes one's experience of that site forever.
Well, there's a lot going on in many different spaces, so we just have to figure out how many cameras we need in one space at a time, and how to plan it out, of who goes where, and so we can capture it all.
Structure of the dance as it's starting to form, to spatial design. God, I don't even know what this is. Okay. This is Courtyard 1.
Love seeing my city come alive in this way.
Incredibly moved by Loom, how quickly they passed each other, just how thoroughly effective the theme was, and the power of the lighting up in the finale, everybody's presence, and of course climbing the brick wall with the video. That was phenomenal, all of it.
Never attended a performance where I came away with more images in my head that are just vivid. It was fantastic.